Hello. We're playing into the hands of our enemies when we think about politics or economics. All of our lives, we've been programmed with a way of looking at ourselves and our political arrangements within a framework that's immune to change. We can choose one way or another, but we're presented between a choice of two evils, or at the very best, two compromises. The central tenet of all of this is that societies are way too complicated to operate without organization, and that we need dedicated politicians to manage us. Meanwhile, the nature of politics as a profession causes separation in thinking between politicians and the rest of us. The electorate are inevitably seen as selfish and ignorant. The less we know, the smoother the business of managing us becomes, and the less attention politicians need to spend on us. It's a vicious circle. So, what's the way back to meaningful organization? Okay, so throughout the escalation of this political indifference, politicians' indifference to the electorate and the electorate's indifference to them, we've ignored the technology. Consider the difference between organising Athens with 30,000 men with the right to vote, who can all meet in assembly and be heard, with organising a modern state or with organising the entire planet. The bigger the civilization becomes, the more representation in some form or other becomes necessary. But not once we have the internet and a data solution. Democracy without representatives has now become possible, and I'm arguing that it's always been preferable. If we can vote directly as our own representatives, we no longer need professional politicians at all. Just a handful of programmers to implement the final and permanent democratic software. Thereafter, we continue to do what we've always done, what we've been doing already, which is simply to vote with our feet and our fingers. Public opinion can simply be harvested and our decisions become apparent. Okay, not all of this is straightforward. All of us make bad decisions all the time. We have biases. We have gaps in our knowledge of causation, gaps in our knowledge of the facts. We even have gaps in our self-knowledge and our true intentions. At least if we're put on the spot and our opinions are asked on any issue, we are fallible. But how do we handle this? We go out and we research. This is the way it works in a parliamentary system. When there's the decision to be made and the information we need to make it isn't there, we hold an inquiry. In today's government, this process takes time. Anybody who has the seniority, who isn't too busy, hasn't made too many enemies or too many friends, will get themselves a slot, talk, and make a case for needing to do some research. And if there are enough people around to approve it, they go and organise an inquiry. But this can take years and be derailed by many different things. So what's wrong with an AI system which is hungry for solutions to problems whenever they come up and doesn't need to be asked directly but will just investigate? We're surrounded by information. We create it in everything we do, and then we allow private companies to buy and sell it, not to investigate problems and form policies, but to exploit our vulnerabilities. It's completely absurd that we live under a form of governance which takes no part in protecting our data or acquiring it, while we give it away for free to unregulated private firms who do what they like with it. It all sounds complicated, but in fact there's a logical order to the way we reach decisions. There is, if you like, a hierarchy of human political will. We're not all the same, but we are all alike in having this ordering of wishes. What the software I'm talking about would do is model our political will for us. In the same way that a modern giant tech company knows how to keep us clicking, this software could keep us satisfied. It'll get to know the precise hierarchy of our values over time and then flag off anything we need to attend to. Don't buy this brand of orange juice this week. Don't watch this TV channel. Boycott this, fund that, invest in these things, vote against the sewage contract going to that company. It'll also tell you the precise size of your voting group on any issue, and whether you ought to change your mind or compromise. If you don't want to, it'll then reassess your political identity and get better at advising you. So what I'm proposing is that we scrap governments, scrap countries, scrap politics, and reorder the world so that every one of us is a nation state in our own right. We can reclaim our data from the people who've stolen it, or we can start again gathering it from the beginning. Then as we assemble and compile our data, we can all begin to form unique constitutions, person to person or group to group trade and association treaties, and we can build up from the roots a world similar to the one we live in today, where we will once again be able to enjoy civilized society, i.e., we can eat food we didn't grow, we can travel, we can take advantage of massive engineering products that build roads and airports, and enjoy complex machinery like knives and forks. But with the power which we should never have lost in the first place, the right to retract our stake and walk away with our share at any time. What it comes down to is that currently politics is a mess. And I want to ensure right now that the situation can never arise again. And that's the aim of the project, which I'm calling 10 Billion States. Like and subscribe to the video. Just get down here, get in with the comments, start talking to me, start talking to each other, and let's take this thing global as fast as we can. All right. Speak to you again soon.